Summer is just around the corner and we are so ready. Are you? Today we discuss how we prepare for summer and the complications it can bring, such as a disruption of routine, learning loss, behavioral challenges, and more. We also share how taking certain precautionary steps can help create a smoother summer transition. Before we get started, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for reminders of upcoming streams. Let's get started. Hi, Embracers. I'm laughing because there's some behind the scenes stuff that y'all don't see that's really weird.
Well, I was gonna say I love the intro. Like what was it? Summer is here. Like, are you ready? Like, kind of like a
You ready?
like a
Is that a threat?
Yeah,
it could be a threat depending how your summer goes with your kids. It may be a threat. It may be a blessing.
And
Depends on your
I thought
situation.
this was gonna be like a happy, like, oh, summer, beach, warm weather. And it's like, did we get kind of like a I know what you did last summer vibe? Like,
I know what we did. So
Yeah.
welcome, Embracers. Before we dive in, just make sure again you check out our Wonderful fundraiser by visiting autismwish.org and clicking on the Wonderful Wagon fundraiser link. We have raised $140 so far from our goal of $2,000. Please consider donating to help us reach our fundraising goal. It will basically help us fund our programs at Autism Wish for the remainder of the year. And as a bonus, for every $1 that you donate to our fundraiser, you will receive one entry towards an opportunity to win the green VW4 Wonderful Wagon, which is that VW like buggy looking one. It's like really cute and everyone loves it. It's the green one. But yeah, just check out our website. And again, every single person who enters will also get a coupon for our Embracing Autism merch store. So even if you don't get the wagon, you'll still get something. Thank you to Babies on Broadway for donating that wagon to us. And yeah, don't wait. Give today so you can get that opportunity and we will draw the winner once we reach our fundraising goal.
Love it.
So, summer living. So, we are where we're at right now in our state. We are about 2 weeks away from summer vacation because they end school early, right?
Yeah, it's like the third week of May that they end. So
yeah,
we're in like the final countdown, and the schools are actually doing like a countdown of like activities, which, oh boy, like since we have kids at different schools and trying to keep track of everything that they're doing, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. So summer has been on our minds because our kids' school, they really have a weird kind of school schedule where they start school really early in the year and then they end school really early. So we're almost done with our school year here. And that has kind of motivated us to want to talk about it. I got a new haircut for those of you who can't see. I chopped all my hair off. so I had like 3 feet of hair and now it's all gone.
And for the audio podcast, Leah, would you give us a twirl so they can hear it?
That is so weird.
Hey, just do the twirl so they can hear the hair.
I don't don't even know what to say to them. That's like the weirdest thing. So we are basically, needless to say, in full summer preparation mode. We are ready to go. And as part of that, we have really looked deeply into the planning for our kids because this year, summer looks very different for us and our kids than it did last year. I would say our girls have made a lot of improvement. I think, would you say from like last year? I feel like they were struggling more with certain things.
Well, I feel like last year too is kind of the outlier because we that was our first year after moving down here from out of state. So it was everything was new, like nothing was familiar to them. So like kind of everything was kind of the first time or the first couple times this was our first summer, so we were still trying to like test the waters like, what do people even do around summer? Like what is there around here? So we were still trying to navigate that a little bit ourselves. So this will be like the first summer where we're a little bit more comfortable with our like new home, new area. We kind of have some like ideas of like what summer activities are and where we go for them. So I feel like we're in kind of I feel like a decent spot this year compared to where we were last year.
Yeah, and we have definitely taken a deeper dive into our local resources in our community. So we found like local respite services and vacation Bible groups that accept special needs kids and things like that. So what we've really done this year that we weren't able to do last year is start looking into summer programs for our girls where they would be accepted and cared for. So we have enrolled them in like a vacation Bible school that has like a special needs program where they get a buddy system. They're really empathetic and understanding. So I'm really excited about that because it's going to be our kids' first like vacation Bible school experience ever.
And then I think you can't really have like summer without like some type of like water activity. So I'm actually excited because we were able to find the program that is kind of the special needs focused swim group. So we can work on getting them to learn how to swim because obviously like the drowning rate is extremely high among the autistic community. So getting them to learn how to swim for worst case scenario, but obviously like swimming is fun too. So like let's teach the kids to swim for summer. So
Yeah, that's actually true. We have had our kids in a special needs swimming program for a while now. It's the Angelfish program for any of those that are familiar. I think it might be state specific, but I'm not sure. But because of that program, they have become more familiarized with water. And so they're getting a little more confident in their swimming skills. But that has opened up a new window of opportunity this summer for us because now we're able to take them to pools that we weren't able to do last year. Last year we had to do the little inflatable one in the backyard that's just like what, a foot and a half deep or whatever.
right, you're not really sinking far in that little guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that we've been able to put them in these swimming lessons, we feel a little more comfortable taking them to a public pool with us with them, of course. But at least I know that their sensory aversions and such are not going to be as extreme as they used to be, which means we can do that now. And we're also putting them in private one-on-one lessons this summer. And I expect that because we'll be able to give them that one-on-one time and focus, I expect that they will be able to advance a lot quicker because they were actually making a lot good progress in the classroom setting. So that one-on-one time, I think, is going to be really critical for them. And I would definitely recommend it to anybody out there who wants their kid to learn how to swim.
Yeah, I definitely think that that is a nice little bonus for summertime because I mean, everyone likes going to pools, beaches, lakes, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's nice having that as an option where it hadn't ever been one. So it's kind of nice to, I mean, still obviously the safety measures need to be in place, but at least it's not paranoia as
Yeah.
being around
You don't have
water
to be
as what it,
worried.
right as what it used to be. Now it's more so like, okay, let's be cautious. Like, let's make sure like we are aware of where everyone is, but not like screaming if they like step towards like the beach.
Yeah. So for us, the reason why we put on all these activities for our kids in the summer, it's not, in my opinion, kind of like the typical reason where people are like, oh no, I work a full-time job. My kids don't have childcare. I got to throw them in like summer activities. That's not really the reason why we're doing it. We're actually doing it more to ease them through that summer transition because they're used to going to school 5 days a week and also having their therapies almost every day. So they're used to having this really structured routine. And once summer comes around, that net is basically completely gone. So they're going to have to basically be given a new sort of structure to be able to continue on with their routine. So we are putting in these like clubs, and we're doing even like ballet camp. I think they're having like a ballet camp that I signed them up for, that they're continuing their ballet lessons through. They're doing their swimming lessons, they're doing their VBS. We're just trying to get them in a bunch of activities and programs to kind of mimic what they used to do in school with like their school specials and things like that, so that they can still have a little bit of sense of routine and not feel as disheveled essentially.
And then obviously we're trying to like supplement, since I mean we're losing as far as school, since there's no school during the summer, and we're able to maintain obviously the therapy, so that's still in place, so they still have some features, but then us trying to implement some type of like structured like homeschool-esque, so it's like we're trying to do like, I don't know, like stations, if you like call it that, like, oh, like maybe like once a week or whatever, we can do like a baking like theme where they like make brownies with mom or something, or like we can do like art, or like
Music.
creative, yeah, music, or just like a bunch of like little like activities, or like just reading, math, like little things that they can kind of piece together, where it's a bunch of little like stations to keep them like entertained, because like obviously our big fear is like we don't want it just to turn into, oh, summer, there's no school, which means like TV, iPad, like all day long, every day. Because we know at the end of the summer, trying to break that and go back into any type of structured routine is going to be a complete nightmare. So we are not even going to try to go down that road. We know what is on the other end. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, we are trying to kind of get ahead of the curve a little bit and add in also some educational stuff, because some of the things that tends to happen with autistic kiddos, and not ours as much, but it's common among other autistic kiddos, is having kind of that learning loss and regression that comes with that school break. Our kids don't qualify for the extended school year, so they don't have it that severe, but I do definitely see behavioral regressions. Not so much educational, but I feel like having that constant brain stimulation for my kids in particular helps them basically stabilize their behaviors. Because our kids are really into education. They love learning. They really like having that structure, and they really like to continue to learn. And so for them, adding that education in the summer adds a kind of like stabilizing factor where they know what to expect and they're constantly learning something new, whether that be chemistry, quote unquote, which means baking in the kitchen. Let's make some brownies. This is chemistry 101. Or it could be like biology, quote unquote. Let's go outside and pick some flowers and talk about the parts. So it's not really anything like hardcore. It's not like we're going to be sitting there drilling them on like multiplication equations, but I mean,
Well,
let's be honest.
I'm so happy for biology that you went with like flowers, and not like, oh, let's like dissect like animals that we find outside or something.
They might
And
do that without our consent.
right, and that's what I was like, that like poor worm on the sidewalk. But no, no,
Actually, the
happy.
oldest one is terrified of worms, remember?
That's fine. That's fine. And the youngest is terrified of ants. So
There we
together,
go.
nature is not their best friend. So
Yeah.
that's okay.
So basically, we're just going to be using our environment to try to recreate educational opportunities for them throughout the year without being overly aggressive about it. But we want to use it as an opportunity for them to explore new hobbies potentially too. So we're planning on trying to teach them like music theory. I'm sure you guys have heard of Prodigies. It's a big program now that uses like colored coded bells to teach kids how to read music and play music. Our kids are very musically oriented and they love that stuff. So for them, learning music theory is actually really fun and they don't really see it as work. But it's another opportunity we have to teach them something that's kind of different from what they would learn at in school, but still stimulates them over the summer, which for us, we tend to see behavioral decreases because of that. Because our kids tend to be the type that if they're not stimulated enough, that's when you'll see those behavioral outbursts and those kind of like not quite meltdown, but quasi meltdowns.
Well, like as far as like pushing the envelope, like a little bit, like, and we've seen that too. Like, I mean, recently we've kind of had to pull back a little bit of like iPad time and like electronic time, because we're kind of seeing like the behavior is much more kind of like pushing it, like kind of like a sassy talking back, kind of like a little bit more less friendly than we would
Yeah.
like, if you want to phrase it like that. So, but I mean, the last couple days we've kind of been rebalancing things, and I mean, I've already noticed in like the last like 2 days, there's already been like a huge change in behavior, and we're kind of more to like a like neutral. So I want to kind of maintain that nice balance kind of throughout the summer, where it's not these massive shifts in one direction or the other, because they're taking advantage of no school and doing things that might not be the most like educational, like kind of like brain drain, if you want to like call it that, from like YouTube.
Yeah, but even if it's not an educational thing, I just feel like with the screen time with our kids, we have seen that if we give them excessive amounts of times, it does impact their behavior. And over the summer, when you're working and then your kids are off, as a parent, you tend to over rely on screen time during that time to kind of like babysit your kid for you while you're in a meeting or while you're taking care of a project. So for us, we're trying to think of new creative ways to tackle that dilemma this year. And I think giving our kids these little projects is a way for us to be able to do that. And we also have the bonus of this year, we were able to finish our basement and turn it into this sensory slash play area. And so now they have a little space that they can go to that they can basically just have fun that's screen free. And so that's going to be something new for us that we're going to try out this summer too. And hopefully it goes well. We'll see. But we do have a projector in there just in case we need the screen.
And of course, it's going to be a juggling act, because like obviously we're still working like full-time jobs during the summer, and babysitting is about as successful as babysitting is for us. Like like that's
What
never,
babysitting?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, unless we have like family, and I mean, we have been recently like blessed with having like family help us out. But yeah, outside help is much more limited, because you need to make sure that like the individual is aware of autism and like how to like work through any potential meltdowns and all that. So yeah, outside resources are scarce. Let's.
You know what's hilarious is like as we're talking about this, I'm sitting here thinking about like, oh, my girls, I got to work on this for their summer, blah, blah, blah. And it like just dawned on me. I'm like, oh, wait, we have an extra girl now. I didn't even like take into consideration that, oh, we will also have to tackle having a newborn because that's going to be
Yeah.
a new thing for us too. So, needless to say, I have not figured that part out yet, but we have definitely put things in place for our older girls to make sure that they have some sort of structure and something to do over the summer while we figure out the parenting the newborn thing.
Well, I mean, hopefully we can get her like out of diapers before the end of the summer.
Yeah, right. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of some of the things that we're looking into. I'm actually really excited for the summer this time around. And one of the things that I've done is kind of hype it up for our girls. So they get kind of bummed out sometimes when school ends because they don't get to see their friends anymore. Really, the older one, I feel like our younger one doesn't really care. Socially, she's not quite there yet where she cares about social relationships yet. But our older one this year just started really caring about developing social relationships. And I've noticed with her, she has pretty consistently been asking us now for play dates. She's pretty much asking us fairly frequently. I'd say like what, on a weekly basis, if we can like invite some of her friends over.
That's true. And I mean, we have had a successful play date. It's probably been what, like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is possible. I mean, we do have some phone numbers for friends that we can try and coordinate with during the summer. So I definitely think that that is within the realm of possibility. Logistics might be a little bumpy, because obviously like people working and summers are kind of crazy, but like it's definitely something that we can try and coordinate, I think.
Yeah, so that's a couple of things that we've basically figured out that we're going to be trying this year is really trying to find opportunities for them to have activities to replace what they would have lost in school. Also, trying to replace those social opportunities as well because they're going to be missing out on those. And I really worry more about the summer learning loss for our kids being more of a social learning loss rather than an academic learning loss because our girls are actually I mean, they haven't officially gotten their scores back from their testing, but they're basically going to qualify for twice exceptional. So for them, I'm not really worried about the academics, but it's more like what they've learned throughout the year socially and their social pragmatic skills that I'm worried about them losing over the summer.
And honestly, I think regardless of what we would do, I think there's going to be a little bit of like regression there anyway, mostly just because there is not that constant push for interaction. Like, I mean, as much as we want to try and get them around like peers and whatever, it's not every day, 5 days a week, consistently like you have in a school environment. So I think there will naturally be some regression there, but hopefully it's not as substantial as like I don't know, in previous years, I suppose. Hopefully
Yeah.
they're still able to maintain some type of, I don't know, consistency.
That's why for us it's so important that we keep them in these activities. So we're going to keep them involved in these social opportunities throughout the summer. And that's also the main driver behind us trying to finish our basement because we want to be able to have a place where they can invite a friend over for a play date. And that's basically what we're doing with the basement. It's a autism proof area where we're trying to create a safe zone that has like their sensory corner, a like play zone. We have gross motor stuff, a bunch of stuff that we use with our kids with PT over time. And it's also like a safe area where there isn't anything like fragile or anything that they can chew on that we'd have to worry about or anything like that. So once we've finished up the basement, which hopefully it'll be here in the next month, then we can invite some people over and hopefully start having those social opportunities within our own home. That's the hope. And then once we try that, we will let you guys know how it went.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be successful, but otherwise it'll be an experience nonetheless. So,
Yeah.
a
Luckily,
story.
yeah, luckily for us, our kids seem to be quite adventurous when it comes to activities. So they are pretty open to trying new things if we basically tease it the right way. Their rigidities are more about following rules than actually trying new things. So we'll be able to start things like board game nights, which is something that we wanted to start incorporating with them. So we just bought for their birthdays Candyland because it's a very basic game, but it teaches really good social skills because it teaches like turn taking, it teaches like how to coordinate the colors and the items and not cheat basically because kids always want to cheat at the beginning when they're the age of our kids. Our
Oh
kids
my
are 5 and
gosh.
6. They're at that age where they're like, I want this color, I want that color, I want to take 30 steps ahead. So we've been actually using Candyland as a therapeutic way to practice social skills, which was actually suggested by their speech therapist, right? I think she was learning how to play that in speech
I
therapy.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not the most successful game for them.
But that's the goal. The goal is
Oh,
to get to the point where it's successful. It doesn't
oh
have
my
to be
gosh.
at the beginning.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little rocky, but yeah,
A
we'll
little
get there.
rocky road.
Oh my gosh, it was rough. It would be like the oldest would pick one. She wouldn't want that color, so she'd hand it to her sister. Her sister would be happy and then take the color. And I'm like, this is not how the game is played. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. And our family has always been, our family, meaning me and you,
Right.
we have always been like big game nerds. We've always been into like board games and game nights with our friends and stuff like that. And we've had to stop that since we've had children. So we're kind of personally excited trying out these new, I guess you could hopefully eventually call them family traditions when it comes to trying to engage them in the game night. So another summer goal for us would be to be able to try to create that as like a family moment that we can try to build on.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because I mean, now that they're at the age where they have a little bit more patience, and you can kind of explain how to play a game, and I think we're ready to hopefully expand and have a designated game night on whatever day of the week that we choose.
Yeah, maybe eventually we'll work our way up to Dungeons and Dragons.
There we go. Exciting.
Yeah. So I'm honestly really excited about the summer. For me, I do see that there's going to be challenges because of the transitions and the lack of routine, that structure. But honestly, like, especially our oldest, she's had a really rough go at school this year. She's had a really hard time because the school systems, I mean, some of them really try their best, but some of the other staff really don't understand autism. And so she's been having a really rough go of it. And because of that, I feel like she might actually want this break and may even do better than when she was in school. So we don't really know. I guess we're just waiting to see how things turn out. And then in the meantime, we're building these routines and we're trying to build in the structure, the schedules. I'll be printing out some visual schedules for them for the new summer schedule. I'll be putting together a meal plan with them and do like a visual meal plan to help them participate in planning over the summer. And we're going to be working on building more independent skills with them over the summer, seeing if I can get them to the point where they're dressing themselves or brushing their own teeth and things like that. So there will be learning opportunities. I just don't think that, they will be like school.
But let's be honest, the best thing about summer is like no more waking up early and like having grumpy kids all day because
Let's
they
be
had to,
honest, they're
oh
going to
my
wake up early
gosh.
anyway.
Well, but at least it's at their choice. Like it's not like me trying to like drag them out of bed and I'm like, okay, like we got school, like let's get dressed, let's eat, like the routine. So at least it'll be like, oh, I woke up super early because like I'm well rested. Like, yeah, it'll still be like super exhausting for us, but like at least they'll hopefully be in a better like mindset for the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're hoping that the summer will kind of refresh them a bit for the new school year. This school year, for the first time ever, they will be going to the same school. So it's going to be a new
yay.
school, a brand new school that's opening up this year. So new staff, pretty much new everything. So we'll see how that goes. But I think it will hopefully be a positive because they will be going together. And that's something that we're really going to kind of build up over the summer to get them excited for school. We're
And
really
the
going to
good
like harp on that.
And the good news is we basically pass by the school every single day. So they've seen it being built like very, I mean, obviously over the entire year, very, very slowly. And each day we'll remind them, look, there's your new school. So they can slowly see the progress taking place. And I mean, they're like super excited because now like the school is like almost complete. And they're like, wow, like we're going to go in there soon. And I'm like, yep. So
Yeah.
let's have a good experience, kids.
Yeah. So I'm honestly fairly optimistic about the summer. I think my biggest concern is going to be that social regression because we don't still have many friends in the area because we're still new here. We've only been here like what? Is this our second year now?
Yeah,
Soon?
barely. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
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 almost there.
at like 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, so we still don't really know a whole lot of people here. There's not a whole lot of social opportunities for us. So anything that we do, we really have to kind of like reach to find it. So that's going to be our biggest struggle is finding those social connections to build on over the summer. And for me, my biggest concern is just like the emotional or like psychological impact it could have, particularly on our oldest, because she seems like she really needs those connections. And it's hard to find them for her because she can't really build them on her own. So that's something that I'm a little concerned about with the summer. But again, that's why we're putting them in all these programs and activities. I'm hoping that just authentically there will be some sort of connection that comes out of that.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that I mean it'll be at least better than it has been in the past. I mean, I think we have more resources and tools to make it, I don't know, better than what we have had in previous years, I guess.
Yeah, we can only do what we can do. And I feel like for us, this is how we're preparing. This is what we can do right now with the resources that we have. So we're just going to try our best and see how summer goes. And you guys let us know if you want us to report back in once summer's over and let you know how it went. But yeah, hopefully things go as planned and we get our basement finished and we can have some play dates.
There we go.
So, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. I want to ask you all now, how do you prepare your child for the summer transition? What is your biggest concern? And are there certain routines or systems that you put in place as a precaution? Or are you the type of person that just prefers to kind of like wing it and then adjust as you go? I'm definitely not that person. I'm an over planner. But if you are, I'm curious to know how you do that and what sort of impact it might have on you or your child. Let us know by sharing your thoughts in the comments on YouTube or Facebook at Autism Wish, or continuing the conversation with us in our private Embracing Autism community. Before we go, don't forget to become a member today at autismwish.org for exclusive access to our private community where you can get support from us while also helping support our mission. Don't forget, we do have voice chat rooms there that you can also chat with other parents if you need to. And we can drop by and chat with you one-on-one if you'd like. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye, Embracers.